On this episode of Grassroots Garage, we're on mountain roads in Subaru's Unicorn, the 22B.
How very exciting. Yeah. It's good to see the old girl.
Yeah.
You'll notice two sets of plates throughout this app. This is a revisit. We filmed a lot of this 2 years ago. Welcome to Grassroots Garage. We're sitting in front of one of my absolute boyhood dream cars with Cameron. Cameron, thanks for your time, man.
No problem, mate. No problem.
Tell us about your car.
98 WRX STI 22B. It's an ex-Japanese car that came into Australia about 13 years ago, and then had a couple of owners in Australia. But yeah, it's one I sort of stumbled across. So, I think I was like you. It was a childhood dream car. Colin McRae and all that kind of stuff. It was Richard Burns and those dudes. It was the era, I think, where WRC was just at its peak for me, beyond the Group B era and all that stuff. But I'm not quite old enough to go back to Group B stuff. But yeah, it was just the coolest thing, wide body, all that. And I just stumbled across this car after having another version 5, one of the Australian delivered coupes. And yeah, I've had it for close to 5 years. And yeah, I love it. They're quite different to sort of obviously the regular STI models, 80 mils wider and wide body, 8.5 inch factory wheels, magnesium BBS wheels, airbags, delete, no ABS, intercooler spray, obviously 2.2 motor, really short diffs. Yeah, it's really quite a fun toy to drive, that's for sure. Yeah. It's a bit of a silent assassin, it's pretty quiet, it's very standard, it's got a set of, all it is really a set of top mounts on the struts really for camber adjustment and whatnot, but other than that, yeah, mechanically standard car, runs standard boosts and yeah, it's a fun car.
Oh yeah, Japanese rego, nice, very nice. These are like an optional extra.
Yeah, they are.
Nice.
Pretty common, I think, on Joe's website. That's like the Saitama district.
Oh, that's where it was.
Parking permit.
Geez, they did us a favour. The law is you've got to have somewhere to park your car. Yeah. They've done us a favour, haven't they?
That's right, and the older cars get the Gira Rego.
Oh, wait, when I was riding past to see that other one, all I had was my iPhone. I was just riding past Subaru, and I'm like, what is that? Ran in, but the camera phone doesn't capture just how
fat they are.
Oh, it's unbelievable, isn't it? Like compared to the white car. You just look down this line, it just...
I always have my mirror just pointing a bit low just so you can see the fat ass.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you were talking about before. I can just looking out that window, you just see that. You just see it sitting
addictive.
there.
Yeah, they're a bit lower than they need to be. Just purely for that reason.
Pumped out guard. You've got to be careful with the Ks on this thing, don't you?
Yeah, well, I think so to some degree. You know, it's something that it's got 43,000 Ks on it now. It's got Japanese service books and all that to sort of verify all that. But yeah, you've got to have it out and, you know, enjoy the experience.
There we go, look at that.
Yeah, it's
In a 22B.
yeah, it's get a bit blasé about that when you live in the mountains. My dealership has amazing views, like the same as a Hydro Majestic out the back, basically. So.
Wow.
Cameron and Andrew are sons of motor racing legend Doug MacArthur. They own and operate Blue Mountains Mazda. Last time I went to buy a car, the guy that sold it to me wasn't a car guy. They were salesmen. Cameron and Andrew are car nuts first and businessmen second. Just to be clear, this is not an ad, you buy your cars wherever you like. The used car lot at Blue Mountains Mazda was way too small to house all the vintage cars for sale, so Sunday Motors was born, a boutique showroom to keep all these gems dry. Being in the car industry and employing a fleet of mechanics has its benefits. Firstly, you get offered vintage cars all the time as trades or just hear about them through the grapevine, and secondly, you can give them to your team of mechanics to fix up and get them running right. An example of the kind of cars Sunday Motors specialises in is this 1947 Willys Jeep. After RAAF service, it was restored privately.
Let's go right back to the beginning. Tell us about your first car.
First car, 1985 Mazda 323, green, 1.5, manual with air and no steer. Yeah, look, it's a good fun car. It's reliable and did the job as a struggling 18-year-old kid. It it did well, and then it sold it and when I was probably about 20, I think, and then bought a Peugeot 205 GTI, which was always similar kind of rally-ish, theme that I liked. A Miami blue, red carpet, 90,000 Ks. I wish I still had it, but it ended in the side of a taxi, sadly. And then I went into, we'd had a bit of a history in my family of obviously Mazda dealers, so we'd had a BF Familia, so the 1.6, the early sort of white ones, which my dad had bought, and then my brother had bought off him, and then when the Peugeot died, we had a BG, the 1.8, sort of later 92, I think it was, 92, GTX, the sort of more standard one, and then sold it and bought my first GTR, one of those, a black GTR.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which are quite the same looking thing, except for some bonnet vents and, a few other bits and pieces, 4-stud to 5-stud wheels, and tested my memory, it's a long time ago, but all that kind of stuff, different turbos and better motor and all that kind of stuff, and they were great fun. It was a cool car, lots of grip and little, light, and never broke a gearbox, unlike most probably familiar owners who had a sad affair. And then I sold that to a friend of mine who's still got it to this day.
Oh yeah, nice.
20 odd years later, and I bought another one. A white one which had been pretty nicely modified by a previous owner, had the GTAE gearbox in it, which was the 300 they built for rallying, so it had a shorter ratio box and made about 190-ish kilowatts size, something like that, which was pretty good numbers back
190,
back in the early 2000s, and we sort of gutted it, so it had just front seats, no back seats, nothing else, put a cage in it, and I used to track it a bit and just terrorise the neighbourhoods.
Nice.
So, it was good fun. And then sold that, and then I had company cars for a long time of all shapes and sizes of everything. So the dealer I worked for at the time was largely probably Aussie cars, so I had endless, VS and SSs and ZT, VX SSs. I remember having a Grant Hackett Gold, VT or VX, I can't
Tiger
remember.
Mica.
Yeah, Tiger Mica.
Wasn't that a big thing?
Getting booked in one of those, and so and then I probably got into MX5s When I sort of joined my brother at the dealership up here, we just got an SE, just traded a pretty low K, and this was a long time ago, so SEs weren't that old then, so probably 3 or 4 years old at the time. So, and then gradually modified it a bit and broke it and snapped a con rod in it, and then we built a proper motor for it, and yeah, so did a fair bit of that, and then over the last 7 or 8 years, I've just added bits and pieces to the collection, and so I've got I've sold a few recently, so
oh yeah, okay, yeah.
I had to relive my youth with another 205 GTI, so I had a 16 valve converted one, which was quite fun. Horrifically, the plastics are just rubbish. The whole dash would just shake and rattle, and yeah, I had fun with it, and it didn't have a limited slip diff, so it would just absolutely tear the inside tyre coming out of anywhere. But really fun toy. They're so little, and playing with lift off oversteer, and all those fun nature is quite a different way to drive those. To other stuff, but yeah, and then I've got the disc curl obviously, and then I've got the white version 5 coupe, and a 98 stock as a rock, just a WRX in green, which was my dad's, and then we sold it for about a year when he bought it new, sold it to another friend of ours locally who had it for 20 years, and then bought himself a trick toy, and had no more space, and look, it was the first car I ever got booked for speeding in, coming back from Phillip Island in 1998, watching Mick Doohan win his last Phillip Island.
Yes, yeah.
And yeah, I just couldn't say no. Had to have it back.
So. Such a beautiful car, yeah.
Yeah, they're cool things. Like that's for me. I think that car probably, I had familiars, but that car when my dad bought that new surprised me too. I was living in Sydney at the time and just turned up, go for dinner and walked outside and was just like, oh, bought a WRX, good on you. But I'd been badgering him for a while to do it, and yeah, I bought that, and then I suppose that for me in a lot of ways was where the WRX fandom sort of came from, but beyond watching the WRC at the time, which was just I think for me, especially the way TV packaged the WRC in the 1990s, it's great little half-hour slots and all that, it's a really, I went to the Perth WRC years and years ago. It's a hard spectator sport, like you traipse out in the middle of the bush to, there he goes, he doesn't come back, and then you traipse to the next spot. So, yeah, it was I think of that era, and I bet probably television numbers and all those kind of things would reflect it, because I remember it being pretty popular at the time.
Nightly news, I remember, like Channel 10 News at 5:30, you'd throw a bit of rally on,
That's right.
Just don't see it anymore.
And guys like, Tommi Mäkinen, Richard Burns, McRae, Carlos Sainz, these are household names where I think if you ask your average motorsport fan, name me 6 current WRC drivers, they'd probably struggle. Like I still watch it a bit, but not the way I did back in that era.
In a moment, the red light come on, and then when it goes off, which will be within 2 to 4 seconds, they'll be off. Wait for the light to go out. Here they go.
So it's Mäkinen in lane 1, the longer outside legs, and we'll see McRae looking like he's getting ahead. He's going to come down to the jump. McRae will jump just before Mäkinen splashes. And this is spectacular from McRae on the very inside. First gear hairpin, Mäkinen slightly longer round the outside. That's second gear probably.
In the 1997 World Rally Championship, you had Tommi Mäkinen in the Evo 4. Carlos Sainz in the RS Cosworth, in the GT-4 Celica, and Colin McRae in the mighty Subaru. Each round of the WRC was shown on TV, and it made the nightly news from time to time. World Rally was in its heyday, and Subaru was dominating. This was the 90s, and drifting was still underground.
And if you allow me to rant for 30 seconds, Toyota, all of them, the Yaris that they run.
Yeah.
It's not a Yaris. I don't know what it is, but it's not a Yaris. You know what I mean?
That's right.
This was the Rexy. Well, even the 4-doors back before that.
Yeah.
It was a Rexy, and they obviously souped it up and did a few things, but it was a Rexy.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean?
They were production cars, you know, where I went to Coffs Harbour at the end of last year and we were on holidays and watched one of the special stages, and they're amazingly fast, the current generation of cars, and I think that it's a good thing, because I think it had, WRC felt like it lost a bit of interest, and now these things are just brutally quick. Sort of take a hell of a lot of driving on a bit of gravel, or you know, jumping in Finland and all that kind of stuff. I think there's some brave men doing all that stuff. But I like the idea of, you know, and the Group B stuff, and when you look at some of like because these aren't so much a homologation car that already raced them by that point in time. They're more of a celebration of winning 95, 96, 97, and Subaru turned 40 in 98. So that was kind of my understanding, is that's sort of why these were made.
Yep.
Where like you look at some of the Group B homologation cars now, a couple like a Lancia 37 or a Delta S4, that they're just untold money now. There was one, I know, a 037 sold for, I think, €750,000 last year. You know, $1 million car. So and they're obviously like stupidly low number cars. There's not many of them. I don't know the numbers behind them, but I'd love one of those. But I'm just probably don't quite have the moon.
If you wanted to fix motor racing, and no one's going to listen to me, but you got like Toyota's just come out with another Supra. Look at how well the 86 did. Who else has done another one recently? They're all coming out with these retro cars. Did Nissan re-announce something the other day? The 200SX might be coming back.
Yeah, I've heard rumours of more S-chassis stuff.
More S-chassis stuff, because they're just realising that we're all getting to the age now where like that new mid-engined American thing they're bringing out, Corvette's bringing.
Oh yeah, the new C8.
How could you go past that?
Yeah,
I mean, that's going to be. That's going to be a game changer.
I think like when you talk about like special edition cars like this, I think it's sad to see that there's not more of it in the modern age. You know, when you look at how, you know, whether it be this or it's, you know, even Tommi Mäkinen's, the pricing of that kind of stuff and the desirability of that kind of stuff has really risen in the last 5 years. It's guys like me that were teenagers at the time, and now you're 40, and you know you can afford to go and buy a toy that you want to buy. But it'd be interesting. Like Mazda have just released a 30th anniversary MX-5, of which we've sold a couple of those. They're pretty cool. There's only 29 of those in Australia. So look, there's bits of it, but I think that genuine factory special stuff, which, you know, there's the old sticker pack we always talk about, like Holden Vacationers, you know, the Vacationer sticker on the back, but these cars were built, you know, properly. Just totally different factory special cars. It wasn't just a bit of a tart up, and you know, and they were genuinely different from there.
I give you an unlimited budget.
Yep.
Would you change anything on this car?
Oh, look, I'd like to find the original factory shocks. It's got a set of Cusco coilovers, and I'd put the original Bilsteins and Ibachs in it. But no, I don't think so. Like I think what I like it is it's Subaru's go at having a modification. You know, they've made plenty of other good cars, and if I really want to go and modify a Subaru, I'd go and buy another version 5 and, you know, go to town on it, and you can do all that. But no, I think for me, there's certain cars that I'm not anti-modifying by any means. There's plenty of guys that, you know, have to modify, but there's certain things you do and you don't. I think so, for me anyway. So no, I don't reckon I'd change much with these.
Would you have to chase down? They're 22B shocks? Are they different something?
Well, I've never really looked into it too hard, but at the time they used a Bilstein shock with an Ibach spring there, so I imagine they were fairly, you know, not say exclusive, but specific to a 22B. I don't know spring rates, and guys will know that stuff, but nerdier
Feel
guys
free
than
to
me.
comment.
Yeah, please do. I'd love to know. If you guys set, let me know.
And how many were made? I say it's $399.
No, $399's wrong.
No, it's $400.
$400.
Subaru had won the Manufacturers' Championship in 95, 96, and then won again in 97 to make it 3 in a row. 1998 marked 40 years of Subaru, and the marketing people in Japan wanted to celebrate the company's success with a car like no other. The 22B was born. Subaru made 3 prototypes, designated 000, and were owned by Colin McRae, Nicky Grist, and David Lapworth. There were 400 Japanese units. If you take account for the fact that they didn't take number 13, that's 399, we think.
No, so Cameron's right here. I went deep into the internet forums. and I found that Subaru America imported number 13. I'm not sure if it actually got the numbered tag. They might not have put the tag on it, but apparently Subaru America imported number 13. So that is 400 original, and then on top of that,
16 for the UK. Some say that 6 made it to Australia, but 1 fell off the boat in Japan. Others say the Sultan of Brunei got one. So shout out to the Sultan. How's it going, mate? Pete actually emailed Subaru a few times to get the full story, but no answer yet. If you're one of those correct the video in the comments sections types of people, we'd love to hear from you.
So we've got the unlimited budget. Not much happening to the 22B, but what else are you parking in the shed?
Oh, how long have you got? You know, so look, there's endless dream cars. Like I think the number one dream car for me is the F40 LM in particular. Like a road F40 would be nice, but an LM would be particularly nice. So yeah, I just think that would just such a huge departure from everything else. And when they came out, you know, twin turbo, 2.8 litre V8, and just as cool as it gets, I reckon, for guys of my age. That you know. There's older guys that, like my father's era, it's a XKSS Jag or a 250 GTO, or you know the big cars in that way. But yeah, for me, that's the number one. Look, you could keep going. I'd love a '73 Carrera RS Porsche. Would be really nice. Yeah, like a DB4 Zagato Aston would be pretty good. But just
keep them coming.
But the budget just is we're a couple of $100 million now, I think, at this point in time. Look, you know, I'd like a Daytona Ferrari. What else would you have? Probably I'd like a GT3 RS, like a 4 litre 997. One of those. I love those. I think they're super cool in orange with the orange cage.
I
think E30 M3. They're super cool. I think that's that boxy wheel arch look is I'm a sucker for. I can't help myself there. But and then like go back to a bit of Group B, like a Peugeot 205 T16, a Lancia 37, Delta S4, you know, Audi Quattro Sport. Just tick off all the Group B cars. Stratos, you know, it's an endless list. You could just sit there forever and just name off cars. So but and you know, some modern stuff, and you know, I'd like a GT2 RS, a current, you know, Porsche, pretty serious bit of kit. And, I don't know where to stop and start really with that.
Definitely. So that's it for this beautiful 22B. This might be the last time I get to see this car, which I'm very disappointed about, but Cameron, we really appreciate it, and thanks for your time.
Easy done, Pete, you can buy it. You know, like it is for sale, so you can buy it. So
update time between filming this and getting it all edited, it's sold already. How much? More than we can afford, pal.
Thanks for watching. Now hit that subscribe button.